never had a building. He would go to other churches and teach his classes on his specialty, which is creationism. And if you don't know what creationism is, it's all about how God created you individually, uniquely, with your own special gifts given to you by him before you were even born, for the works that he had in store for you. That comes from one of my favorite Bible passages, which is the book of Ephesians, and it's the 2nd chapter, verse 10. He says that you are his masterpiece. Isn't that awesome? You are his poema, is the word, his poetry. So I want you to remember, and this is just the intro, I'm not even speaking yet, but I want you to remember that God created you, uniquely created. That's why he is the creator. You did not evolve from slime. If that was the case, we would still see half slime, half people. I think I have seen that. There is zero evidence, just like right now we're talking about evidence, there is zero evidence about the effectiveness of masks or distancing or any of that. There is zero evidence of evolution. You want me to hold the mic closer to my mouth? I'm seeing all sorts of gestures. I have no idea what they mean.
Hold it on.
The speaker it's really loud to me. Yeah, maybe come on over here, friends. All right, it's a big beach, so make yourself comfy where you can hear, because what I have to say should be heard. You are created by God in his image. Don't veil your face. It actually dishonors God. And when I talk a little bit later, I'm going to talk about sacrifice. But right now, we are just here to welcome you. I want to open up in a little brief prayer, and then we're going to turn it over to one of my wonderful Healthy Americans, Emma. So I would just like to say, dear Lord, thank you for everyone here today. I'm so grateful for their presence and their reflection of your presence, your goodness and your light. We know that you are light, you are love, you are truth. And when we focus our actions, our hearts and our minds on that love, on that light, and on that truth, we will be victorious. Let us honor you in all that we do, and we praise you and we thank you. In the name of the Father, I'll do it for my Catholic friends. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, let's have Emma come up. Our wonderful Emma, she's a Healthy American from the very beginning, doing all of my videos and technology. Could not do it without her. And do you know God hand delivered her to me? Here one day early on, I get an email from Emma who says, oh, by the way, I've downloaded and stored all of your videos on a hard drive so you can access them whenever you need to. I'm like, here's my angel. Thank you, Emma.
Well, we know that nothing happens by accident, and Peggy has been an incredible blessing in my life and such an example of faith in God and action, what faith in action looks like. And there were a lot of actions taken by other people in our past history that allow us to celebrate our faith today. One of those periods of time was World War II, and we're going to celebrate today. We're going to start off by celebrating my father, Fred Clark. And Fred is turning 96 years old. 96. So, Fred, would you come up here? And as an incredible treat to my dad, my brother Fred, who's helping him right now, he's from Missouri, and his wife Lisa surprised us when they came in Friday from Missouri, and we are so blessed to be able to celebrate not only with our family but with our beach family.
Can you grab that chair and pull it up next to Emma, please? Yeah.
All right. And we have somebody really special who's going to help us celebrate. That's somebody who has helped veterans celebrate in our past history. I would like to introduce none other than the one and only Elvis!
How you doing there, young man? How we doing? How we doing? All right, all right, all right.
Good to see you.
Hello, hello. Very nice to see you too. How you doing, young man? Very nice to see you. How you doing? Nice to see another veteran in the house. We got any more other veterans in the house out there? Okay, I guess we're the only two here. That's all right. That's all right. You only need two to start another war, huh? What do you say about that? How you feeling today?
With my fingers?
Say again?
With my fingers. With my fingers.
This guy's sharp as a tack. I tell you what, you would never know that he was 66 years old today. That's right, that's right. Sharp as a tack, I tell you. He feels with his fingers. That's what he said. Took me a minute to get that. I'm the slow one here. That's right. That's right. You know, I'm a veteran too, right?
Speed it up. Speed it up.
Oh, he said, whoa, there we go. Like I said, he's telling me speed it up, speed it up. All right, I keep talking any faster. You know, it has something to do with where I grew up. You know where I grew up, young man?
What's that, sir?
You know where I grew up?
No.
Do you know where the best music in the world comes from?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yes, he does know Nashville, Tennessee.
The capital of the world.
Say that one more time.
The music capital of the world.
Music capital of the world. Is some of your favorite songs from that place?
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
That's exactly right. That's right. How'd you know that? My wife tell you that one? She must have told you that. I got my little mini Elvis right here. That's right. I make sure that chair doesn't fall over. Well, yes, of course. It's always great to have another veteran in the house. You know, after he got done with service, he went ahead and decided to be the military police. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right. All right. You still rounding them up to this day?
Sir?
You still rounding people up that are getting rowdy to this day?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say you're innocent of all that rowdiness?
Yeah.
Like I said, sharp as a tack he is, sharp as a tack. That's right. Well, I tell you what, you know, we got some real fun stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and let this beautiful young lady, or tell you what, I'll have this handsome young man over here hold the microphone for just a minute. Right about there. There we go. 'Cause we're gonna rock. Hey, let's rock. We're gonna party all day till Fred feels great. Do the birthday rock. Hey, let's rock. Hey, let's rock. We're gonna party all day till Fred feels great. Do the birthday rock. That's right.
That's the way to go.
That's the way to go. That's right. That's the way to go right there. We said we're going to do the birthday rock all day till Fred feels great. Although I know Fred's feeling great already. He's quite sassy. I tell you what. That's something I'll always take after, Mr. Sassy Pants here. He knows what's going on. That's right. It's nice. It's nice to have you sharp as a whip here, young man. You know what? It's amazing to have your family here with you too. Yeah. You happy to have your son back in town?
World War II, I was in the South Pacific, so I've swum in that ocean many times. The Pacific Ocean.
It's pretty chilly out there, right?
No, it was warm.
Oh, the South Pacific. Oh. So it's not like up here at all. Oh, very good, very good. Well,
the island of Mindanao of the Philippine Islands. It was the biggest island in the Philippine chain.
see, and this is what we're missing. Everybody's got to listen to the wisdom. 96 years young of wisdom. These are some of the things that we can learn from. You know what I mean? Right, kids? Right? Oh, you're busy eating your Cheerios, so that's all right.
Elvis, that's where I learned to play volleyball on the sand.
Kind of like Top Gun, right?
Yeah, I was really good at it too.
All right. Well, we'll have to.
And I'm not bragging at all.
Shopper's whipping and still got that sense of humor. I love it. I love it. Well, your son is here with a very, very special gift. And, well, not a gift, but a very special treat, I should say. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to light this candle because it's a very special birthday for you, young man. And if everybody can help me, we're all going to sing happy birthday. Can I get my microphone holder, handsome devil, back up here?
Oh, now you can.
All right, so everybody, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. And many, many more. All right, Fred, blow it out.
Blow out the candle.
Blow it out. Don't catch your upper lip on fire. There you go. Woo-hoo! Oh my goodness, who's a hound dog now? You got some lungs like a hound dog been running all day. You feeling good about that?
I sure do.
That's right, that's right. You want to share some of these sweets with the other people here?
Share what, sir?
Some of your treats.
There's a whole,
There's you don't have to share your treat. There's other treats.
Oh, I like
Can we
it.
share other treats with people?
I like chocolate pie, cherry pie, apple pie.
got cupcakes.
we got cupcakes.
Yeah, it looks like everybody struck out on what you like there. That's all right. Hey, we can't be perfect at everything, right? Right? We have absolutely nothing that he likes, but that's all right. That's all right. So everybody, we're going to take about 5 minutes. Everybody can run up here and grab as much sugar as you can possibly cram into your face. All right? And then when you get back, I got another special treat for you, okay? So go ahead and take 5 minutes. Go grab the cupcakes, cookies, other things that'll lower your immune system. All right.
I gotta get a picture. Sweetie, would you
Yeah,
take a picture of all of us here? I gotta get in. I'm gonna get in with Fred and with, come on, Lisa, Elvis.
Oh, tell you what, let me,
Oh my gosh, this is just brilliant.
Get little elves too.
yeah, I gotta get a little Elvis.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, tell you what, hold on.
How awesome is this?
Okay.
Dad, look at the camera.
Say
Yay!
cherry pie. Okay.
Cherry pie,
I
awesome.
hope I didn't break it.
No.
I think you made it. You didn't break it. Oh, this is just awesome.
I got another very special song you're gonna help me sing, okay? One of your favorite songs ever in the whole wide world. You know what song you sing almost every day? Don't help him.
Absolutely.
What's a song you love to sing almost every day?
Stand up for Jesus. Stand up for Jesus.
It's about America. What song do you like to sing about America?
Here we go.
All right.
America the beautiful.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, cheese and apple pie, cherry pie. Fantastic.
Thank you, Peggy.
All right, beautiful.
We're gonna sing America the Beautiful together,
Yeah.
and you're gonna help me sing. Is that a good?
I'm going to try if I can remember it.
There we go. Well, I'll help you through it.
Oh, beautiful, for skies. Yeah.
For amber waves of grain,
Yeah.
for purple mountain majesties,
Oh, beautiful
for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. All right, now we're going to sing it for everybody. Does that sound good? Now we're going to sing it for everybody. We're going to get the microphone up here, and you and me are going to sing really, really loud, okay? I'm going to borrow this hand real quick. You got Emma over there. Let me borrow this hand real quick. There you go. If you need to grab my arm, you can grab my arm. Here we go. All right, everybody. Is everybody sufficiently sugared up?
Elvis, my brother found Dad's Purple Heart Award, and
he brought it with him.
Oh, wow. Well, here.
Yeah.
Go get
Yes.
it. Go get it.
Go for it.
Wow.
That's Jay.
Yeah, that thing's been missing for years.
All right, I see a few cupcakes and a few faces. Everybody looks quite happy. This gentleman right here, you look like you could just die and go to heaven right now, young man.
Oh,
We have a very special thing that just took place. I found out that
Elvis,
little Fred Jr., yes sir.
when I was in the South Pacific, I come back with a Purple Heart. Japanese shot a knee mortar at me, and God stopped it before it hit me, but I got my leg full of shrapnel. When I got into the first aid station, they said, "Oh, you got your Purple Heart the easy way, didn't you?"
Well, you must have a sixth sense or something, because Fred Jr. brought something to show you.
Okay.
Everybody?
Really appreciate all that you've shown my father and my sister. Dad, in growing up, he had, and talking about hearts, I think Dad heard us as we were whispering that here, or maybe he did. I don't know. But it's been a long time in finding any memorabilia from the war from him. And just the other day, I was going through some things and found his Purple Heart. And this morning, waking up about 4 o'clock, which it's 6 o'clock my time in Missouri, one of the things that came through my mind was the sacrifice and the love that he showed me in growing up. I remember there was a little kitten that fell from the rafters in our garage because our cat had kittens up there. And that was the first time I ever saw him have tears. And it showed me the compassion that he had in his heart for God's creation. Another time I remember we were in an overnight for scouting, and we wanted to get what we had were called beads, and a white bead meant that we camped out in snow. A clear bead was ice. And that evening we got both. And I was pretty young, and during the middle of the night, then he took the extra blanket, wool blanket off him and put it over me. And I know he was pretty cold when we woke up that morning. But again, another thing that I saw in my life on his sacrifice that he would do. And now, when I found this Purple Heart, it just gave me another memory of him in the very few times that he would speak of those days that he spent in the South Pacific. And with it, and he's already stated it, so it kind of took some thunder, Dad. But I found
I'll be done.
I found his tags
No way.
and the heart.
Wow. There you go, Fred. Go, Fred.
Well, this is hard to believe that this showed up after all these years. Wow. Old dog tags, too. $3.49142. Yep. That was my Army serial number.
All right.
Amazing. Wow.
So, Dad, we appreciate your sacrifice that you gave to us. We love you.
Yeah. There you go, Fred.
That's an amazing family right there. That's what this is all about. That's what this country is all about. That's why he went to war. So these two be able to grow up with freedom. And that's why we're here on the beach, without any walls to hold us in. Right?
Excellent.
So we're gonna sing one more song, one of Fred's favorite songs in the whole wide world. I guess the second favorite, because the first one is Stand Up for Jesus. Can't argue with that, right? So
Best not argue with that.
that's right. So if everybody knows America the Beautiful, we're gonna sing that together. There you go. This is a great adjustable mic stand. I get rid of all the other ones. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea. Play ball! Thank you all very much. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm glad I could come out of hibernation and spend this special day with you guys. Happy birthday, Fred. And here's to 96 more, young man.
Yeah. Ellis has to go back in the freezer.
Excellent, Ryan. Excellent.
That's great. Well done.
Mike.
Oh, stay. Stay.
How about that, everybody? Another big round of applause for Fred. All of his sacrifices and our wonderful
He's blind.
entertainer and MC and talented the American Elvis. Really awesome. We have, isn't that fantastic? And our dude man there, a little mini Elvis
do I need
as
this?
well.
She's recording.
Oh, I'm not
We
next.
have Pastor Paul here.
Paul's next. Sorry.
There he is. All right.
I know.
She
Perfect.
said you.
So we're going to hand off the
I
mic.
don't know.
To hear some
Okay.
encouraging words. So great to, here we go. I just love what we have in that song. From Sea to Shining Sea.
Hi. What do I do with
Brotherhood.
this?
And that's what we're really here for. And that's what the evil doers
So that
wanted
we can
to
record you.
prevent.
Oh, okay.
Was the connection and the interaction. And we are going to overcome. So here we go. And you're already mic'd, so I'm going to turn this one off when we're ready.
I am? Can you guys hear me?
No, louder. Oh, it's just for the camera.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am filling in for Martina today. Not as smart as her, not as pretty, but I'm going to do my best. Global warming, climate change, what a mess, huh? If this Green New Deal goes into effect, it'll make the first 3 or 4 months of COVID-19 lockdowns look like a day in the park. Everything will die. All our business, everything will have to grovel to the government for food. It'll be a mess. So let's talk about climate change. Let's go back to Genesis, where God tells us that there was a firmament over the earth. This firmament divided the water above from the water below. It also tells us that Genesis tells us that all the land was in one place and all the water was in one place. So, about 1,500 years later, we got Noah building a boat, and everybody thinks he's nuts because he's building this boat. He says there's going to be rain. And everybody's, what are you talking about? It's never rained before in history. So the first climate change was rain. The firmament broke, the water came from below, it came from above, flooded the whole area. That was the first climate change. The second climate change happened in the days of Peleg. And this is something I missed reading the Bible many times, but it finally clicked to me one day. It says, for he was called Peleg because in his day the earth was divided. The earth. A lot of theologians will tell you that no, God was talking about the people being divided. That is not true. The people were divided in Nimrod's day, which was 2 generations before Peleg. In those days, man was living on the order of a couple hundred years. So Peleg followed Nimrod by about 200 to 400 years. Also, God is very clear when he speaks. When he says the earth was divided, he's saying the earth was divided. So, are there any scuba divers out here? All right, as scuba divers, we have it drilled into our head. Equalize early and often. Equalize early and often. Every 10 feet you go down into the ocean, you're under a different atmosphere, and there's pressure on your head. If you don't equalize the pressure in your head by blowing through your nose, the pressure from the ocean will literally cause your head to implode, all right? Too much pressure on the head. The earth, after the flood, had no such pressure mechanism. You had all this water that came from below, releasing pressure, and above, causing more pressure. So, scientifically, I guess you could say, or common sense, that is why we have the continents as we know them today. The continents are moving, we know that. We also have this new phenomenon called seasons. We didn't have any seasons before the flood, did we? We had the firmament. Adam and Eve were walking around naked because they didn't need a jacket or anything else because the weather was constant. So, that is the true science behind climate change. The world we're spinning around in right now is not as God designed it due to man's sin, which is why we had the flood. So I encourage you all to read the early Genesis account of Peleg and why he was named that. Ann, where's Ann? I'll send a link from a Bible. I think it's called Bible Believers, that has a very long, very concise, wonderfully written discussion of what I've just told you. It'll be much better than what I told you. I just gave you a quick summary. So check that out. I'll put it on there when I get home on her email. Everybody's on her email, right? Okay. And then lastly, Martina wanted me to talk about Marxism, globalism, things like that. So just real briefly, what we're seeing in our world today has been going on for 100 years in this country alone. Everything that you hear on the news is pretty much a lie because the news is controlled, the mass media is controlled by the very powers that want a global one world government. And a lot of people have a problem getting their mind through this, that people would actually be that evil and would do anything for control, for power. But history has shown us that man can be evil, can't he? We've got Cain and Abel from the very beginning. And then we've got Caesar, Alexander, Genghis Khan, Pol Pot, Saddam, Hitler, and you name it. There's always been someone who wanted to rule the world, always. And they always have help, just as the Romans had help. So what we have regarding the Federal Reserve were 5 men that met in 1910 surreptitiously, and they went to an island called Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia, which was owned by J.P. Morgan. Of the 5 men, 2 were Rockefeller men, 2 were Morgan men, and 1 was a Rothschild agent by the name of Paul Warburg. The 2 most important men at this meeting were Paul Warburg and Nelson Aldrich. Nelson Aldrich became the grandfather of the 5 Rockefeller boys. So you had John D. Rockefeller, who died in 1937. He had 1 son, John D. Rockefeller II, who died in 1960. He was the one with the 5 sons. Their maternal grandfather was at this meeting. He also happened to be the head of the Senate Finance Committee at the time. He was very powerful, had his own railroad car, the whole bit. So, this Federal Reserve got passed under Wilson in December 1913 with most of Congress away. It got passed because the final signature had to be put on there by Wilson. Wilson was a past president of Princeton University. Taft, whom Wilson ran against, was looked at as unbeatable, but Taft, and I'm talking the election of 1912, Taft was looked on as not playing ball with the globalists and their new banking system, this Federal Reserve. So something had to be done because they didn't think Wilson had the steam to get the job done, just as Biden didn't have the steam to get the job done without a little fraud. So what happened was another Democrat by the name of Teddy Roosevelt created the Bull Moose Party, and that effectively split the vote between the Republican Party. So half the Republicans voted for Teddy, the other half for Taft, and voila, Princeton's former president and now president of the United States, Wilson, signs the Federal Reserve Act. But the other thing he signed that most people don't know, the other thing he signed was the beginning of the income tax. Prior to 1914, there was no income tax in this nation. The government derived its income through excise taxes, which are manufacturing taxes, and tariffs. Interestingly enough, you've got the mainstream media saying Trump's tariffs on these other countries are horrible. Well, if we all knew our history, we know that tariffs is how a government should get its money. So we have this income tax, and a progressive graduated income tax is the second plank of the Communist Manifesto. Another one of the top 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto is a central bank. Our Federal Reserve is a central bank, and it's private. It is incorporated. Government entities are never incorporated. So when countries need money to go to war, when they need money for this, for that, or the other, they get it through international bankers, and the Fed simply creates money. This was very hard for me to wrap my mind around. Money is created by debt. When someone borrows money, the boys at the Fed don't go to Fort Knox and get the gold out because there is no gold. The money is fiat. It is not backed by gold or anything else. So when you hear of the IMF or the World Bank, they are both creatures of the Federal Reserve. They are owned by the Federal Reserve. When you hear of the Bank of International Settlements that's headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, it is owned by our bank as well as the Central Bank of France, Italy, Germany, Japan. All of the combatants in World War II. It's interesting, isn't it? It was created by those nations that were half on the Allied side, half on the Axis side. So all of this is connected, and it's some scary stuff. It is incredible to me that a lot of Christians don't think that this new coming world order is real. And a lot of Christians don't believe in dispensational premillennialism, which is the rapture and the following 7 years. 3.5 good years, 3.5 years of hell on earth. So Revelation tells us that all men, great and small, will have a mark either on their forehead or their right hand, and they will not be able to buy, barter, or steal without it. So how are you going to have everybody in the world take this mark unless there's some kind of world government in place? And that's where we are headed at warp speed right now. Biden signed 60 EOs, executive orders, 60. This was the guy that ran under bipartisanship, right? It's absolutely mind-boggling how fast this is accelerating. It's never been this bad before. And this Green New Deal that's going to get shoved down our throat because of climate change is going to kill our economy. Hopefully us Christians will be gone by then, but we've all got loved ones that aren't Christians, so we need to start working on them hard, really hard, and start from any angle you think will work for them, but start because it's got to be done. All right, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. You're welcome. What do I do with this? What do I do with this?
I'll take that. Excellent. Wow.
Thank
what
you.
a powerful message.
Thank you.
It's exactly what needs to be done. Good sight.
You're live.
I know. How about that for Pastor Paul? Let's have another round of applause. That is so important. I like when you said it. He said it was hard to wrap his mind around some of this, and that is one of the tools of the enemy is deception. Another tool is delusion. And we're going to talk about that. But I want to go back to this beautiful song that we had, America the Beautiful. I used to live in Morocco. I lived there in my kind of early adulthood. I went first with the Peace Corps, and I taught English. And then I stayed and I taught for a private school, and later I worked for a big company called Procter & Gamble, one of those evildoers that you're talking about, like one of those major corporations. And come to find out, you look at their logo and it's very demonic and all of this. But it was interesting to me as a young person because I got to see from the inside a lot of the deception. And when you're young, at least when I was young, I approached life with a great deal of trust. Like, oh, I'm going to believe what people tell me, because why would they tell me? Why would they try to deceive me? Well, I want you to think about someone in your life, maybe somebody you even know, maybe somebody that you even love, who has let you down. Maybe not even let you down, but who has betrayed you. Maybe it's somebody you went into business with and they stole from you. Maybe it was a boss that kept saying you were going to get these promotions and then you never did. You had to go to New York. So when we think of people that we know, that we love, that we might have had a break of a relationship with now, or people that we worked for and they betrayed us and they deceived us, yet you think a government who doesn't even know you is not capable of deceiving you and betraying you? It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. But I learned that as I grew, and with years, you have the opportunity to develop wisdom. Wisdom is experience applied over time, which is why we have wonderful wisdom here with our brother in Christ here, Fred. So when I lived in Morocco about 5 years, and when I would come back to the United States for a vacation, and I would be on the plane, and I would be so giddy because I knew I was coming back to the United States of America. When I lived in Morocco, people would say, how long are you in for? Why did they send you away? What are you doing here? I'm trying to get to your country. They could not believe that I would be living in their country when their entire life was about getting, for many people, not all, their entire life was about getting away from the tyranny and the oppression. So this would have been like the early 90s. Around that time there was the Gulf War, and I was living there, and I think Bush was in power one of the Bushes was in power at the time, and it got a little touch and go there for a while. And the things that I learned at Procter & Gamble, and the deception, the deceit, the outright lies, the things that I was asked to lie about, the power structure, how they didn't care about people. It was like, wow, it was so disheartening to me as a young person. But when I would be coming back to the United States, I would be singing that song, all of those songs, God Bless America, America the Beautiful. And I would come out at LAX, and there would be the lines at the airport for the immigrants and the visitors and the American passport holders. And I felt such a swell of joy and pride that I was an American and this was my country, and that I was coming home where I literally could breathe. The stories that I used to tell of living in Morocco are not even funny anymore, because now it's what we're living through. So I would tell stories of, I couldn't get in my car. Actually, I didn't really have a car, but I could not get in a car, in a taxi, and go from city to city. So that means from San Clemente to Laguna Niguel, without passing through a police checkpoint. And you have to say, what is your purpose? Why are you there? Who are you visiting? How long are you going to stay? And if you were staying more than one day, you had to register with the police department. And then when you leave that city, you have to, and it's not because I was a foreigner. What is your business here in this city? And the checkpoints would be random, so kind of like here coming in from Mexico, right? Sometimes they're open, sometimes they're closed. I did not have the free right of travel. No one has the free right of travel in Morocco. Well, guess what? How many of you have the free right of travel now without getting a vaccine, without getting tested, and without obstructing your face with a self-suffocation device? You can't get on a plane or a train or a bus now without those types of hassles. The other thing in Morocco, I would feel like it was such an accomplishment when I would go to the post office, and it's like, they had stamps. I was able to get stamps today. It's like, wow, that's coming. Talk about toilet paper. They didn't even have toilet paper, so that's a whole different story. It would be like the black market to get the toilet paper, which also has to do with your personal dignity. It's no surprise that that's what they chose to make scarce. Because there were, trust me, warehouses and, lots of storehouses of toilet paper. It's highly unlikely they ran out. I know people who work for Kimberly-Clark. You don't run out of toilet paper. They created a false scarcity, something that had to do with your personal dignity, and they wanted to take that away from you. So when our brother here talks about the coming and the acceleration of this coming New World Order, it is not a joke, but we have a remedy. Our remedy is faith. And our remedy is to, as Pastor David has talked about many times, to grab people off that wide path of destruction, get them on the narrow path, which is actually a set of footsteps. And as you can see, it's difficult to stay on that path. And evil is an active force. It is actively trying to influence you. And that's why we see that going on. There is good and there is evil. And in my mind, I see things very much black and white. There's good and bad, there's right and wrong, there's dark and light. And I have my my standards and sacrifices I'm willing to make. The other thing I wanted to mention was this idea of sacrifice. I lived in Morocco because I wanted to see the world. I always was interested in different cultures and all of that. But I actually did want to help people. It came from a heart of compassion. I felt that I was making sacrifices. I was away from my family. I was away from things that I like to do, like swim, walk freely, travel freely. But I was willing to make the sacrifices because the benefit and the result of those sacrifices were worth it for me. Fred made, and his colleagues at the time, his veterans made, some of them made the ultimate sacrifice, which was their life. I want you to think about something right now. I want you to think about one of the greatest accomplishments you've done in your life. Just think about something that really stands out, like, wow, this was really a high point, this was something that I did, this is something I got through. Take a moment. I don't want you to think about it too deeply. I know something jumped to mind and you probably tried to dismiss it and think of something different. Just that first thing that came to mind. Now I want you to think about the sacrifice that was required of you to do that thing. It required a sacrifice, didn't it? Raise your hand if what you accomplished actually required some sort of sacrifice. Absolutely. And these things that we accomplish are so much more meaningful when we know that we had to give something up. So I want to talk for the next couple minutes just about what I'm going to call the sanctity of sacrifice. And I asked Pastor David, what does that really mean, sanctity? You know, we hear that like you're growing in your sanctity. I don't know if I'm using the right word. I am an English teacher. Sometimes I make up my own words. But to me, that means reverence. It means something that comes from God or is sanctioned by God, right? Something that is precious. The sanctity of it. It's a revered practice. So when you have a situation where you have to make a sacrifice, and we have a couple of our fellowship members are not here today, a young lady that is an Olympic caliber swimmer, right here in Mission Viejo. I was a professional. I was an amateur, but I was a competitive swimmer growing up. I know what it takes, the hours, the miles in the pool, twice a day workouts for 2.5 hours. Then all the body work you have to get, you know, and she's been training hard, and she's a high-level caliber swimmer. And here a year later, they want her to participate in a humiliation ritual of covering her beautiful God-given face until she's on the blocks, the swimming blocks, and then to take the mask off to dive in the pool at the start of the race. This is humiliation. There is no reason for it. She hasn't done it for a year, and now she is faced with the question, am I going to sacrifice all of these miles and hours for something that God gave me a talent to do? Am I going to set aside my Olympic dreams and participate in the Luciferian ritual? I'm praying for her. She has not done it so far. She has made the sacrifices. You have to ask yourself. Please do not email me to ask me how you can get on a plane to go to Mexico for a vacation without getting a test. I'm this close to taking people off my list that email me those things. Do you not understand where we're living, the times that we're living in? Yesterday I spent all day counseling parents asking me how I can help them overcome the requirement and the unlawful requirement. Please don't ever use the word mandate. There's no such thing. These are unlawful measures. You can call it that. There's no such thing as a mask mandate, other than it has an alliteration that's easy for the evildoers to drill into our brains. It's called an unlawful measure, a directive, an illegal action. Don't call it a mandate. I never want to hear that word again. You're feeding the beast. These parents are calling me saying that there's a mandate for their kids to be tested twice a week to play soccer. And my question is, soccer, is that important in your life? That you're willing to have your children risk their life, their health? You don't know what's on those tests? Further, even if it's nothing on the test, you are willingly participating in the humiliation ritual to say that you have to do what the puppet masters tell you. You're going to make sacrifices. Fred made sacrifices. He's still here. These sacrifices are going to make you stronger, wiser, more sanctified in God's eyes. Christ made the ultimate sacrifice. Are you kidding? You can't forego a vacation or a swim meet or a soccer game? So I asked these parents, I said, what will you do when now they tell your kids next week that they have to snort a line of cocaine for energy to play soccer? Are you going to be okay with that? Well, no. Oh, really? In my view, cocaine is healthier than the dang test. What are they going to say next when you can't go to school until you show proof of your sterilization? Are you with me, friends? Are you getting the point of this is the decimation of humanity? Are you with me? Or you just want to put on the mask to go to Costco? Stop it. I don't want to hear it. We have friends that have driven an hour to come here. Drive an hour. Go buy your groceries. Come here once a week to Orange County. Go to Aliso Viejo, Ralph's. They don't hassle you. There's always another way. I don't want excuses. I want sacrifices. I have over 100,000 people that email me. I will tell you, 20% are making the sacrifice and the other 80% are just like cheering me on and not doing anything. They want to join some national group that's going to do it for them. You walking in without a mask on is what's going to do it, my friends, not joining some national group, not signing a petition. That's the enemy telling you that you don't matter. That it doesn't matter just this once because, I had to. That's the enemy talking in your ear. The enemy telling you that you are not worth it. That you need some major group. And trust me, I've got an organization, but it's for education. You don't need 20 people to walk into Whole Foods and do this. It can backfire. We're going to teach you some better ways. I didn't intend on getting so... getting the tough love on you today, but I'm so upset by it, you guys. I literally, Pastor David will tell you, I cry myself to sleep. It is overwhelming. And I want to say what for Pastor Paul, the reason, as to dovetail on what he said, evil is accelerating, and that's because the light is coming in. More and more of us are saying, we're not going to do this. More and more people. I mean, you can go to dozens of restaurants here in San Clemente without a mask. You can go shopping. I have never covered my face this entire year, ever, and I'm never going to. There's no reason to. And if I ever did, it would be from my personal choice, not because I want to go on a vacation or play soccer or whatever else the case may be. How many of you are making sacrifices now, currently, for what you're doing? It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's worth it. It is worth it. And if you need help, if you're saying, Peggy, I want to do it, but they wouldn't let me in the doctor's office and I couldn't do this, I want to help you with, because there are remedies. At the Healthy American, I've got a class on medical rights. I've got many people emailing me with their victories. One woman had Kaiser, write a letter apologizing to her and saying that they were going to train the staff because she has the right to get treatment without covering her face. The post office, you never have to wear a mask to go into the post office. I have all this for you. It's on the website. Go on the page that says documents, print out the letter from the postmaster and hand it to the clerk and have them read it to you. You're in a doctor's office, have them read your Bill of Rights to you. You take the card at Walmart or whatever, you have them read it to you. Don't you tell them. They read it in their words to you that says you have a right to be there. If you don't stand up now, friends, every single one of you will be required to donate a kidney because it's the kind thing to do. How selfish of you. 2 kidneys, you only need 1. Where's your social responsibility? And you young kids, you're not supposed to have children. Don't you care about the earth? If you don't get sterilized, you're not going to be able to go buy food. It is never going to end. If you think this is about playing soccer without getting tested, you are severely mistaken. I'm being told to wrap it up. What I wanted to say, I'm going to finish my story of coming home on visits from Morocco. I would be singing the song on the plane, God Bless America, as we would come into LA and we'd be coming through, and often there would be other expats coming back to the United States. And that sense of relief of coming home where I could live free, the place where all those many Moroccans that I met wanted to come to. That sense of pride has never been diminished. It never will do. Remember, the United States is not the sand and the water and the mountains. It's not the government. It's not the capital. You are the United States. This is America, us, the individuals. I'm going to maintain that pride, and I just want to thank everybody. I normally read my prayer at the end, but my phone died and I couldn't read it, but I do have it on the website under documents. You can read out a prayer for activists. If Pastor David would hold up that little bag, that plastic bag, at the end you can come get a business card if you haven't gotten one. The business card is for you to give away, and it has a list of the classes that you can take all about your rights. So that's what God did was I have it. Thank you, Harry. I'm going to read this out loud. So this is it, a prayer for activists. Today's Sunday, and my intention is that every Sunday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, in a gesture of unity, we recite this prayer. And I know that many freedom groups read this prayer as well, and that helps us stay connected. So here we go. Oh Lord, I long that people might hear the truth. Give me assistance in reaching others with my heart uplifted for your grace and wisdom. Guide me, Lord, to share my views with fullness of truth, clarity of thought, proper expressions, fervency and conviction. I have that one down pretty well. And guided by your wisdom and your light. Keep me conscious of my own faults and flaws. And open my heart to hear the sorrows of others. And shine your light of comfort and peace. May no soul be lost to your love. Strengthen me, Lord, by your Spirit. Stand between me and all strife, so I may speak fully and freely and do this work that you have called me to do. Amen. Do it that way today. Okay. In your pocket.
Sure, I don't care if it's up or down.
Oh, I don't know how it goes.
Just fold it.
Tuck the cord in your pocket.
15. Wow. You hear the master.
You quit early.
You had 1 second left.
Okay, I don't know how to do this.
Just
Okay.
Good.
I'm
Good.
not sure.
Is that good, Emma? Can you hear it? Yeah, Emma knows. Emma's the expert. Well, thank you, Peggy, for that. As always, even though I live with you 24/7, it's always a pleasure to hear you speak. And your verve and your sacrifice, duly noted and appreciated. Thank you all. I feel compelled today, as I was last Sunday, to speak to all of you, of course, but primarily to those of you who are still on the path, you're still on that faith journey, or maybe you've just come to faith in Jesus Christ and you still have questions, which I'll be happy to answer afterwards, or you're still not sure what does it mean to be a Christian? What does it mean to walk in faith? And it is unique. As I said last week, Christianity is unique in all the world as a faith, as a religion, if you will. It's extremely unique in many ways, one of which is that you have a personal relationship. If you've accepted Christ as your Lord and your Savior, as your King, you have a personal relationship, one-on-one with Him. That is unique in all the world. The other is that our God, as the Son, Jesus Christ, came to this earth to show you the way to salvation, to be a template for you how to live your life, and died so that your sins could be forgiven, because they were too momentous for you to work out on your own. That is unique in all the world, in all time. That's why Christianity is unique. So if you have questions, please come up to me afterwards. Happy to answer them, talk with you, share whatever I can to help you in your journey or help you in your new faith. And there are two things that we all need to keep in mind, whether we've been Christians all our lives, or maybe a decade, like myself, or you were saved yesterday. There are things that we do, and this is related to what Peggy was talking about. This is related to what Pastor Paul was talking about. And that is, we are constantly bombarded by the enemy, which today is in the form of the mainstream media. Much of our government. It's not by accident that we feel this weight of what's going on right now. Look at it, if you will, as a preface, as the introduction to the ultimate end, which is Satan ruling this world for a short time. That is the one world government. That is one world currency. And it will be one world faith, where everybody is forced to believe the same thing. Well, I got news for you. I mean, at that point, I hope all of you who call yourselves Christians will make the ultimate sacrifice, and you will refuse the mark. You will refuse to buy and sell and trade in the enemy's world. But fear not, right? The war has been won, right? 2 weeks ago, we celebrated Good Friday, when Christ uttered, "It is finished." Well, that "it is finished" was the beginning of our eternity, because He made that sacrifice for us. He didn't make it for Himself. He didn't say, "I am finished." He said, "It is finished." His work was finished. His obligation to God the Father was finished. It's finished then, it's finished now, and it's finished for us in the future. I mean, my heart leaps with joy every morning when I get up, because I know Christ is with me. God is with me. He never leaves. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again because it just bugs the heck out of me. People tell a story and they say, and this and that, and then God showed up. Now, I know they're saying, I know what they're telling me. But friends, God doesn't just show up. God is there. It's us who shows up. We are the ones that have been missing in action. God is always there, always faithful, always true. He doesn't just show up. We have to remember to turn to Him, right? Thy will be done. Not my will be done. His will be done. So, here's one of the things that happens to us because we're bombarded 24/7, 365 by the enemy. We as Christians, and it is because, you know, we care about people, we care about our country, we're loving, we're caring. We don't want to hurt people, but what we will do is we will equivocate the gospel of Jesus Christ. We'll try and bring things in and mix it all up into a big stew so that we don't offend anybody. Right? Isn't that why some of you aren't in your church you went to for 5 years? Because they're equivocating on the gospel of Jesus Christ? They equivocate on marriage? They equivocate on abortion? Are you joking me? And I'm sorry if this is going to offend any of you who've been vaccinated, which I hope you haven't, but are you as a Christian going to tell me you're going to inject yourself with aborted fetal tissue? Are you joking me? Seriously. When we talk about adding insult to injury, we cannot equivocate what God gives us in His Word, in the Holy Scriptures. This is not His Word. It's my own notebook.
It's your word.
It's my word. Don't equivocate. Don't say, oh, well, and I know, I mean, I have friends who, because they have many friends, and they want them to get on the path of righteousness. But they say, oh, well, yeah, God, yeah, God's in this rock, yeah, God's everything, God's everywhere. This is a rock. That's not God. Friends, it's pantheism, panentheism, naturalism. Seriously, it's a rock, not God. God is in heaven. God resides outside of the universe that He created. We have to stand strong on the gospel of Jesus Christ. You have to be in your word every day, reading God's word, praying, right? He says to pray unceasingly. Hey, I'm not so good at that, I admit. I'm much better at being in the word. When I open the Bible and I read, that's God speaking to me. That's how I hear it. So that's my admonition. My second one is not to accommodate. This is part and parcel. Don't accommodate the mainstream gurus and authors who want to sell you a different gospel. Right? You've got Thich Nhat Hanh and Deepak Chopra and Ram Dass and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Lord knows there's, many others. You read them long enough, you listen to them long enough, they're not preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. They're preaching their own gospel. Right? That Dr. Wayne Dyer, he said, we're all God.
We're all God. Why is it like this?
I'm sorry. I'm not God. You're not God. Hate to tell it to you if that's a surprise. But many of us, we have friends who are Buddhist or Hindu or whatever, or they're, well, quite frankly, most of them are New Age nowadays, right? I mean, most of Israel is New Age now, if you can believe that, right? The Promised Land. It's full of New Ageism. As you accommodate that, again, you're mixing in other philosophies, other beliefs, and that is, folks, that's an affront to God. The God who, as Peggy so eloquently said, who created you, who made you. Honestly, one of the tripping points for me coming to faith was to feel that I was that great. I felt more like the rock. I felt more like the sand. And it's like, if God created the whole universe, I felt pretty small, pretty insignificant. So I wanted to accommodate everybody's belief. I wanted to, we can all get along. We can all get together. We can, but we can only do it under the banner of Jesus Christ. That means, and this makes me a, conservative, white, insurgent, whatever the media says I am. But there is one truth, capital T truth, and that is Jesus Christ. I want to thank you all for being here today, for supporting this beach church, for supporting Peggy, for supporting Fred, sir, and all of you who support us. I thank you. I mean, Peggy, you know, I've got her down to about 14 hours a day now of work. So, you know, she's taking it easy. But it's because of you, through, you know, your support, your cards, your letters, your donations, everything. It helps tremendously. And I want to thank Paul today for filling in today. I hope you'll be back next Sunday, Paul. You know, it's good to listen to a brother who understands creation. And Fred Jr., great talking to you. Thank you so much for coming out to celebrate your birthday and for sharing your dad with us. It's a real honor and pleasure. So God bless and keep you all, and I hope we see you next Sunday. We are going to have open mic time now. I believe we're limiting that to 3 minutes. Harry will pull the plug if you go too long. Thank you, Harry.
A big round of applause. I guess we can applaud in church, right? And a little birdie just told me something really interesting. Not only do we have Fred celebrating his birthday, but do you know whose birthday is the day after Fred? Emma! Let's give a big round of applause for Emma. Best wishes. Yeah, so great. And we're so grateful for you and for all of those that come to the church. And we are going to have the open mic, so here we go. And here's Ann.
Okay, hi guys. I just want to let you know if you're not on our email list.
Closer. There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
If you're not on my email list, on the Beach Church email list, come and see me. I've got that.
Ever sweet.
The sheets for you. And then also we have so much extra food, juice, and water. Please come and help yourself and take it home. Thank you.
I think I saw Amy.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, we're doing incredibly well this morning on keeping the time together. Please, let's not blow it, okay? We have a whopping roughly 30 minutes left, okay, of our church time. So if you want to get up, okay, and share a little bit of love with us, okay, please keep it down to 3 minutes. I'm going to be standing over here. Don't make me get rude, please. Come on up, Dave.
I saw Amy.
What is your name? Kathy first.
Hi, everybody. Hey, I just wanted to say that I was actually in a hospital this morning. My mom's in the hospital right now, and I didn't have a mask on, and nobody said one thing to me. Of all the places you would think that they would say something, a hospital would be more of a place where I would wear one, and they didn't say anything at all. So I just wanted to share a couple things. One, I'm working with, we're starting to kind of meet together to get a little bit more involved with Dr. Cordy Williams. I mentioned him last time, and he's with 1776 Forever Free. And one of the things that he promotes is liberty and freedom. And if anybody wants to get on his website, he has a Constitution class every week, so you guys can learn about the Constitution, your rights, know your rights as a human being American. And the other thing is getting involved. So for me, like right now, I'm really trying to find my place where I fit in, where I work full-time, but I can still do whatever I can to help this whole movement, this whole cause. And something that you guys can do is take a look at yourselves and ask, where can I fit in? Whether it's on a school board or, there's going to be elections coming up. Maybe you can take a position that maybe you're really busy, but maybe it's a position that you can fill as a conservative so the other side can't get it, and you can do maybe a little something. Whatever it is you guys can do would be greatly important for this cause, just to get in there somehow. The other thing is I see some parents here with younger kids. Just want to really reiterate the importance of checking their homework. The indoctrination in school right now is high, right here in Orange County. Little kids, elementary school kids, they're being indoctrinated, so please check their homework, whether it's a math class, English class, whatever it might be.
It's out there and it's super scary. So just don't, definitely be vigilant. So anyway, thank you. That's what I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. All right, Dave, you're up, brother.
All right, on my way in here this morning, I was encountered by several bikers. Although they didn't bother me about not having a mask on, they did say, Dave, the 70s called and they want their shirt back. So
yes, they
I got
do.
away clean from that, so that was pretty good. So my wife Katie and I have come here from Escondido. It was not a sacrifice, it was a pleasure. We drove for about an hour. We came here to thank God for all of you, for Peggy, for Pastor Dave, and especially for Fred and all of his sacrifice. Can we give it up for Fred, please? Okay. And my father also served in World War II. His name is Art, and he art in heaven now.
Yay.
But if Art was here, and if I had the golden opportunity to sit down with myself and my father Art and Fred, this might be a little tough, but I would have to apologize to them. I would have to say, Dad, Fred, I'm sorry. They would say, what for? I said, Dad, Art, I'm sorry for being asleep so long. I'm sorry for not waking up sooner. I'm sorry for not getting busy and fighting back on this when it would have been easier to fight back. But I pledge to you, my father and Fred, here now in front of witnesses, that I will not stop, and this will be done. And I'm sorry for taking everything you fought for and gave to me for granted for so long. But now that we've finished apologizing, let's get busy. What can we do? Number one, I've talked about this before. You may recall this from last week. Get a clipboard. Why do I get a clipboard? This is my weapon. This is my weapon systems when I go to the store and go out, when I leave my home. What's on here? Tools. Tools from Peggy. There's a list on here of crimes being committed from those who would tell you to wear a mask. What crime? Penal Code 2520, acting like a doctor when you're not one. That's a crime. Penal Code, that means you can be arrested. What's the other crime? Penal Code 236, making you, restricting your liberty of movement. What's the next crime? Penal Code 182, what's that? Conspiracy. It takes more than one person at CVS and all these other stupid places to get together, and they can't do that. They can't make you wear a mask because, as you will learn, as if you already know, a mask is a FDA Class 2 medical device, and you can't prescribe that to someone if you're not a doctor. That's against the law. Penal Code 2520. Where can I learn more? Go to Peggy's website. What's the last crime? Just for the mask. Penal Code 185. What is that? Committing a crime while wearing a mask. That's 4 crimes. Okay, so, well, how do we get them arrested? There's the hard way and the easy way. I'm going to give you the hard way first, and I'll give you the easy way. The hard way is to have to stand in front of them and stand there looking at them, call 911, citizen's arrest, or straight up 911. That takes a little courage. It's a little more advanced. I wouldn't expect you to start there. I didn't start there, but guess what? I found out something else, and it's so simple, we all forgot about it. Every city has what? Crime Stoppers. What is the good thing about Crime Stoppers? You can report with your name or anonymously. Okay, great. Now there's no risk. You can now report people for these crimes after the fact. You go home, you're safe in your house, you get your phone, contact Crime Stoppers. What? A minute? Okay, Crime Stoppers, okay? Go to Crime Stoppers, report crimes. It's as much of a crime as theft or rape or anything else, all right? What about the crimes for the vaccine? Don't have time to list them. They're out there. You can find them. Okay, here's the trick. Bill Gates, we know all that. They're behind it, but they're not the ones doing the jab. You can make arrangements to arrest the useful idiots that are doing the jab. Yes, the vaccine makers are exempt from civil and maybe even criminal liability. However, and I'm not sure about this one, I'm going to test this theory, I don't think the people, the useful idiots, are exempt. So now, what are they doing? We know it's poison. They make the poison, they pass it down, the useful idiots stick it in your arm. Okay, they're not exempt from poisoning you. It's poison, okay? I mean, People make rat poison to do what? Kill rats. If you take the rat poison, which is legal, and you pour it in my coffee, you've poisoned me. Okay, I can't sue the rat poison manufacturers, but okay, you get my drift. It's poison. They try to stick it in you at the low level. Well, how do I know they're doing it? Oh, duh. Walgreens.com. Come book your vaccination. We have pharmacists standing by. There's your proof. All right? So, Crime Stoppers. Every city has one. All right. So, get a clipboard, and let me leave you with this. This is Jim Jones, People's Temple, all over again. If you don't know Jim Jones, if you're too young, ask your friends. Go on YouTube, Jim Jones documentary. Watch it from the beginning to end. Your jaw's going to drop. Okay, who's the new Jim Jones? Bill Gates, World Health Organization, Center for Disease Control, Governor Newsom. They're all Jim Jones. Health Department. Anybody who comes in and tricks you into getting in line, so now they're all Jim Jones. So instead of trying to kill 900 people like Jim Jones did in Guyana, Bill Gates, the new Jim Jones, he wants to kill 900 million people. But most of them are just going to get in line and take the poison, take the Kool-Aid, but not us. So please, help the others, help yourself. Don't take the Kool-Aid. Try to wake people up and go on Peggy's website, get a clipboard, carry with you. I walk into the store, they see this scary picture of a mask, and it says, face mask pose serious risk to the healthy. I walk around like this. I got the laws, I can point to the laws. I got my little civil rights card from Peggy's website. This has an effect on people. You walk into a store, and they're like, who is this guy? Is he like some kind of government official, inspector? Who is he? What's going on? And everybody paused like a deer in the headlights. This works.
You know what? Dave's awesome. Give him a round of applause, you guys. I think the keys also are important. I like the key ring. This is so, I mentioned this on the website last week, and people wrote to me and they said it absolutely works. I'm going to start doing it, and he's got the, you can wear your little badge or something as well, and it gives you that added sense of, there's all the laws there. And this is all about educating people. We do need to educate them on there. I think we have another special guest here. Yeah. I think we have a special guest that's going to make another appearance, right? You guys, all of you, here we go. Look who we have in the house here. All right, oh my God.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. Hello, everybody. How we all doing up there? Can everybody hear me? Testing. Testing. 1, 2. It's fantastic to be here. It's tremendously fantastic to be here. I know tremendously fantastic because I am tremendously fantastic. I don't know if you all knew that or not, but I am. It's so nice to see all you freedom-loving people out here. Some of them love me, some of them love me a little bit less. But in the end, we're all out here showing each other our faces and hugging, and that's really what it's all about, right? And we are most importantly here, so everybody will get a chance to see this beautiful face. I know it's not every day you get to meet your POTUS, President of the Universe. POTUS, yeah. I changed it just a little bit because I'm unique, right? A big hand of applause for 96 amazing years for this guy right here, Fred. Thank you for your service, young man. That's right, that's right. Still a big shining example of health and freedom right there. I'm so glad to be out here and here with the amazingly feisty Peggy. Let me tell you what, I needed her on my campaign trail because she's the one that does not take no for an answer. That's right. Right, they say, we want you to wear a mask for 15 feet until you get into a swimming pool. That's crazy, right? That's just insanity, right? And you know what she says? Hell no. Oops, I don't know. Can I say that here? I know it's church. Sorry, I'll admit my couture with church is a little bit rusty, but here I'm gonna be okay, because together we're all gonna change the world. 'Cause you and me, but mostly me, we're gonna change the world together. 'Cause I can do most anything, and you can stand next to me and watch. Every hero needs a sidekick. Every captain needs a maid. Every dinner needs a side dish on a slightly smaller plate. And now we're standing side by side, and I hope you can agree. We'll change this world together, you and me. But mostly me. You and me. But primarily me. Thank you all very much for having me out here. Let me say a few words. I'll be back. That's right. I'm not going anywhere. That's right. I'm not. That's right. Don't forget to vote. Give this man a big hug. Hug everybody before you go back into the world of insane people. Okay? You make it a huge day because only you can make it a huge day. Right? Right? That's right. American love, not China love. American love. That's right. We can spread it to China, but it's American love. Okay, I'm done talking. Thank you very much. Don't forget to vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tremendous. You know, we've been doing really, really good with time. Anybody else? We're ready to wrap it up. Okay, who's going to do the closing prayer, Pastor? Aggie?
Oh, am I wrapping up? Hello, I was gonna...
Pastor Dave? I'll bring it up to you.
Thank you, Harry.
Oh, this way, sweetie.
We just couldn't do this without you.
We got one more here. Nicole's gonna speak.
Oh, okay. Nicole. The beautiful Nicole.
Yes.
A real healthy American.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce Nicole is the head of our emotional support team at the Healthy American. Anyone who needs to hear and get some encouragement, Nicole will speak to you. This is completely free. We want to encourage you, so especially those that are feeling like I cannot do this one more day. Her ebullience and positivity and tough love. She also will give the tough love. Here you go, Nicole.
Speaking of, I'm going to give just a minute of it, and then I'll leave on a positive note. If you guys want to know about cults, and Jim Jones especially, I have studied that for years. So you just come to me, and it's amazing that you say that, because I have compared this to Jim Jones for the whole year. And, you know, in Genesis, where it talks about Jacob and Esau, and when, you know, during the pregnancy, it said, God said, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. And I thought, why did he hate Esau? He didn't even, he wasn't even born yet. How do you hate a baby? And yet, we don't have the benefit of foresight. We only have the benefit of hindsight. And so, the thing that God hated about Esau was that he sold out for a meal. And the other day, I was talking to a friend. He invited me to this Mexican place to hear somebody, and I said, okay, do you have to wear masks? He says, oh, I don't know. And this is a guy that's very well informed. But he said, I don't know, it's only just inside to, what difference does it make? It makes a big difference, because I can take my business to another Mexican place that doesn't force me to wear a mask. And we need to stop selling out. Every one of us, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, hopefully, but we all need to stop selling out. We all need to stand firm, and oh no, it's just to the table. Yesterday, my sister's coming to town this week, and my mother texted me because I was going to go to the airport with them to pick her up, and she says, well, we're going to have lunch at Shelter Island, and you have to wear a mask, so not this time. And I'm just like, but there's a lot of people in worse situations. I actually feel very blessed. I feel very insulated. I get to talk to people all day long, every day, every other day, who get it. And I don't have to deal with people a lot anymore who don't. And it's tough. It's tough. It's miserable. And I am so grateful. There are people in other states, as crazy and Nazi as California is, other states, there are people that are completely alienated. They don't have a beach church. They don't have friends to connect with. I talk to these people often, too often, that more often than, no, it's sad. It's actually really sad because they're lonely. And, you know, the suicides and everything else just from something as stupid as this. So I just want to say I'm grateful for all of you, and stay positive, stay strong, and don't sell out, please. We have to win this, and we're going to keep fighting for people like, just because of people like Fred. And I thank you, Fred, for your service. Soldiers didn't, I just talked to a soldier Friday from the Gulf, and I said, you know, fallen soldiers over the past 200 years did not shed their blood so we can roll over and be communists and put on masks and shoot up poison into our system, not to mention the other junk. So thank you, Fred, for your service. God bless you.
Stay with me just a minute. We're going to be wrapping up, everybody, unless there was someone else that wanted to speak. Yeah, come on in, guys. And
She says she's an emotional support human.
that's right, emotional support. Yeah, like you've got the emotional support dog. This is the emotional support human, and this is fantastic. Okay, we'll pass on the microphone. And
thank you so much. Happy birthday, Fred. I just want to share an experience I had at Whole Foods, and I'm open to coaching on this. I'm kind of one of the ones on the path trying to get better at kind of managing this whole thing and overcoming it. So my experience was at Whole Foods, it was in Irvine, and I went in with a couple friends, and we walked up, and they have the doors shut, and the lady has to actually pull them open to let you in, because you have to get your mask on and stuff. And I didn't bring a mask. I didn't bring my card from Peggy either, but but they said, so my other friend I was with also doesn't wear a mask, so she said, well, I don't wear a mask, and she said, oh, well, we can take your temperature and ask you some questions. And I said, well, wait. I was trying to like rack my brain and remember all the things, and I said, well, wait, so you're going to take my temperature? That's what my doctor does. That would be practicing medicine without a license, right? And she's like, well, it's just your temperature, and I asked me a couple questions. I said, well, what kind of questions? And my friend goes, well, after the bathroom, let me just take my temperature, and I'll go in. So she was going to aim the thing at her head. She's like, no, not my head. You can do it at my wrist. So she did that. She went in, and I decided, like, you know, I'm just going to have a spirit of curiosity about this, because I didn't have the guts to go, like, get on, you know, call 911 and all that. So I just said, you know, I want to just understand the policy here. So if you take my temperature and you ask me some questions, then I can go in? And she's like, yeah. I said, well, but that's practicing medicine without a license, which that's illegal. You can't do that. She said, well, they're just a couple questions. I'm like, well, what kind of questions are they? She said, well, I can get my manager. I said, yeah, can you? Because I just want to understand what's going on. Like, I just want to get it. So she calls her manager out, and she came out and tried to explain the same thing. I said, well, I'm just trying to understand. You're going to ask me some medical questions. You're going to take my temperature. That's what a doctor would do. You can't, that's actually illegal, and you can get arrested. And the girl says, you know what, it's just a couple. I said, well, what are the questions? And she says, well, wait, what did she say? The questions were, have you been around anyone sick, and do you have a cough? I said, those are the questions? And I said, so if I give you my wrist and you take my temperature and I answer you those questions, I can go in there and shop without a mask? She's like, yeah. So this is why I might need some coaching. Maybe I did it wrong, but anyway, this was progress for me. I said, okay, fine, here's this. And I said, no and no. And so then I just went right in. So it was really fascinating. The other thing about this, and sorry if I'm over time, one girl was coming in and she kind of saw what was going on. She's like, wait, if I just get my temperature, I don't have to go in without a mask? So there were things happening, like just noticing that people don't understand. And then I started thinking, I don't think people know why they're wearing a mask, you know? So I went inside, and I had no mask on, and they were actually radioing in, saying, so-and-so was let in and they're clear, you know, to kind of let people know, don't hunt them down. So kind of just letting you know, this is kind of what's just going on. So I walked through Whole Foods, perfectly happy, just thrilled. I was on cloud nine because I was in there, and just seeing all these people walking without masks on. Nobody stopped me, nobody said a word. And there was a girl in line, and I just decided to ask her. She was behind me, I was ordering a sandwich. And she asked me about something I was ordering. And I looked at her and I said, hey, why? I said, what did I say? I said, are you wearing a mask because you have to, or because, like, just because you want to just get it over with, or because you're afraid? And she just said, I don't know why I'm wearing it. I said, you don't know why you're wearing a mask? She's like, no. She said, but I'm getting the vax tomorrow, then I'll take it off. And I said, wait. I said, well, did you research the vaccine? Do you know what's in it? Do you know how it could affect your body? No, I'm just going to do it. And I said, well, can I tell you some things about this? I said, I know you probably didn't expect this lecture when you asked me about my sandwich. Anyway, so we had this really interesting conversation. She ultimately was kind of just like, well, no, you know, not really interested. But it was really enlightening for me to see people don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. Or yeah, I mean, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. So anyways, if you have any coaching on that, I could have done it better. I'm totally open. But I just wanted to share that's what's happening. That was Whole Foods in Irvine. I don't know if that's helpful for people to just get in there and walk around. I almost thought I should have been in there saying to every single person, do you know if you do this? Do you know if you do this? Or I don't know, is the better idea to just kind of fight it from the outside and not even do the temperature? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my share. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Well, we've been doing good. Let's give everybody a hand for keeping down to their times today. Let's wish Fred one more happy birthday. Thank Mr. President for coming down, and Elvis and the whole shooting match. Who's going to close us in prayer? Any volunteers? Peggy? You're the closest.
Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to share your love, your light, your truth. Without your truth, there is no freedom. Let us always keep our eyes on you. We know that you are going to offer and do provide direction, protection, and peace. Let us think of all of our actions and just ask that one simple question: does this honor you? Let that be our light and our guide. Thank you, Lord. Amen.